You think the quiet suburbs are safe? Try pouring your heart into a community pool your late wife designed as a gift to the neighborhood. Only for the new HOA president to lock you out. Call the cops. And smear your name across every group chat. What happened when the mask finally slipped still makes me smile every time I hear kids splashing again. The Cedar Grove subdivision used to feel like a real neighborhood. Not the Instagram version, real. Sarah designed and funded the community pool herself back when we first moved in. She wanted a place where kids could be kids and adults could actually talk to each other instead of hiding behind fences. After she passed, keeping that pool perfect became my quiet way of keeping her close. Every Saturday I'd skim the surface until it looked like glass. Balance the chemicals. And fix whatever needed fixing. The old HOA board used to send thank you notes. One year they even gave me a silly Volunteer of the Year certificate. Then Brenda Whitaker got elected president. She moved in like she was running for Congress. Clipboard always in hand. Smile so tight it looked painful. Within weeks the friendly neighborhood vibe evaporated. New rules started appearing in our inboxes: approved fence heights, approved holiday lights, approved everything. Brenda called them necessary improvements for property values. I called them control in a pastel cardigan. At first I stayed out of it. I'd lost enough already. I just wanted to keep the pool running the way Sarah intended. That changed the morning I walked out with my skimmer and found a brand new sign zip-tied to the gate. Pool closed until further notice, HOA approval required. Brenda was standing across the street pretending to check her phone. But I could feel her watching. I walked over. Still calm. Brenda. What's this about? She didn't even look up at first. The board voted. Ethan. Safety concerns. We can't have unauthorized individuals performing maintenance anymore. Unauthorized? My name is literally on the original maintenance agreement your predecessor signed. She finally met my eyes. That polite smile never reaching them. Things evolve. Ethan. The community has spoken. Funny thing, no one I talked to remembered voting on any of this. The emails started next. Professional. Passive-aggressive masterpieces. It has come to the board's attention that certain residents continue to engage in unsanctioned pool activity, potentially exposing children to unsafe chemical levels. Translation: I'm in charge now. And if you want access, you'll kiss the ring. Then the fines. $50 for unapproved water testing. Another $100 for removal of organic debris without prior written consent. I'd been doing this for 9 years. Suddenly it was criminal. Neighbors started avoiding eye contact. Some crossed the street when they saw me. Brenda made sure everyone knew there were concerns about my methods. She never said I was dangerous outright, she was too smart for that. She just planted little seeds. We have to think about the children, better safe than sorry. I'm only doing this for the community. I didn't argue. I smiled, nodded, and started documenting every single thing. Dates, times, screenshots, photos of the ridiculous signs she kept putting up. I even installed a couple of discreet cameras around the pool area after the third lock appeared. Sarah always said I was too patient. She was right. One Thursday night I was reviewing footage when I saw it. Brenda. 2:17 a.m. Sneaking through the side gate with a flashlight and a plastic jug. She crouched by the filter system. Poured something in. Then slipped back out like a cartoon villain. The label was clear in the enhanced frame: industrial strength shock concentrate, the kind that can wreck equipment and burn skin if misused. She was sabotaging the pool to prove I was incompetent. I sat there in the dark for a long time, staring at the screen. Not angry. Just clear. The woman who preached rules was breaking the biggest one of all. The escalation became almost comical in how unhinged it got. Brenda replaced the lock with a heavier one bolted through the latch. I removed it calmly the next morning with a screwdriver. Same way you'd remove a splinter. She marched over red-faced. You cannot just remove HOA property. I wiped my hands on a rag. And you cannot lock me out of the pool my wife built and the original board entrusted to me. Want to show me where the community voted to override the donor clause? Her smile twitched. The bylaws have been updated. Have they? Because the county records say otherwise. She stormed off muttering about emergency board meetings. The group chat exploded. Safety first. Folks, she wrote. Mr. Brooks continues to disregard policy. We may need to involve authorities for the protection of our families. I replied all with a single line, happy to discuss the original signed agreement anytime. Including the one you signed as a board member 10 years ago. Brenda. Crickets. Then came the Saturday she actually called the cops. I was brushing the tiles when the squad car rolled up. 2 officers got out looking like they'd already heard this story a dozen times. Brenda stood on the sidewalk. Arms crossed. Righteous fury radiating off her like cheap perfume. Officers. This man is trespassing on HOA property and using unauthorized chemicals. I wiped my hands and handed them the laminated original agreement before they even asked. I'm the designated maintainer per the founding documents. Been doing it since the pool was built. One officer scanned the page. Eyebrows rising. Ma'am. This document looks pretty clear. Brenda's voice went up an octave. That's outdated. The board voted. When, the second officer asked flatly. She opened and closed her mouth like a fish. It's in the minutes. The first officer sighed. We're going to need to see those minutes if you want us to treat this as criminal trespass. That's when the mask slipped. Brenda started ranting about how the officers were taking his side because he's a man and how the neighborhood was being endangered by vigilante maintenance. One cop actually rubbed his temple like he had a migraine. I stayed quiet. Let her dig. Then I mentioned the cameras. Mentioned the footage. Mentioned I'd be happy to share it. She went pale. The emergency HOA meeting was standing room only. Brenda opened with her usual performance, concerned tone. Talk of protecting our investment, subtle jabs about certain individuals who think they're above the rules. I let her finish. Then I stood up. Calm as ever. Brenda. You keep talking about rules. Let's talk about them. I put the original bylaws on the table. Page 14. Highlighted. The clause Sarah wrote and the entire founding board, including Brenda, had signed. Maintenance rights stay with the donor or their spouse unless formally reassigned in writing. The room got very quiet. Brenda tried to recover. That clause is obsolete. We updated it. I smiled. Show me the filed amendment. County clerk says it doesn't exist. Then I plugged in the USB. The projector lit up. Clear as day, Brenda at 2:17 a.m. Pouring the shock concentrate. The timestamp. The label. The way she looked around nervously before slipping away. Gasps rippled through the room. That's edited, she shrieked. I was checking the water. For safety. Someone in the back muttered. At 2 in the morning? I played the second angle, her face perfectly visible under the security light. Brenda's composure shattered. She went from smug HOA queen to cornered animal in about 4 seconds. Her voice cracked as she tried to blame neighborhood saboteurs and misinformation campaigns. The more she talked, the deeper she sank. One longtime resident finally stood up. Brenda. We trusted you. You turned this place into a police state over a damn pool. The vote to remove her was unanimous. The county hearing a few weeks later was the final nail. Brenda showed up in her best blazer. Lawyer in tow. Ready for war. I brought the receipts, literally. The original documents. The footage. The financial records showing she'd been double billing maintenance expenses to the HOA while the pool sat locked. The board reviewed everything in 10 minutes. Brenda was removed from her position effective immediately. The HOA faced an independent audit. All fines against me were voided. And the tampering case got referred to the county prosecutor. She never looked at me as they read the decision. Just stared at the table. Face blotchy. Hands shaking. 2 months later her house went on the market. She left in the middle of the night like a thief. No goodbye party. No final email blast. Just an empty driveway and closed blinds. The neighborhood exhaled. We renamed the pool the Sarah Brooks Memorial Commons. Kids are back to cannonballing. Neighbors actually talk to each other again. I still maintain it, not because I have to, but because I want to. Every time the water sparkles under the sun, I feel Sarah smiling. Power is a hell of a drug. Some people get a tiny taste and suddenly they're drunk on it. Rewriting rules. Smearing neighbors. And calling the cops on a widower cleaning a pool. They forget the rules were written by real people for real communities, not as weapons. Brenda thought silence meant surrender. She learned the hard way that patience isn't weakness. It's a loaded spring. Here's the question I want you to answer honestly. Was I wrong for quietly gathering evidence and letting the truth do the heavy lifting? Or was Brenda the real villain, the one who abused her position? Lied to the neighborhood? And tried to destroy something beautiful just to feel important? Who was actually in the wrong here? Drop your thoughts below. I read every single one.